Hi and welcome to the podcast. My name is Ida and this is a podcast about knitting. I am currently sitting in our living/dining room and it is windy outside, and every time it's windy the wind goes down into our chimney and makes some funny sounds. So if you hear strange sounds, that's just the wind. I hope it's not going to be too much noise, and I hope you can't hear it, but just in case you can, that's just the wind. Yeah, like I said, my name is Ida. I live in Denmark with my husband and our kids, and I'm going to talk a bit about knitting. I have four projects on the go. I don't have any finished objects, but I do have 4 projects, and they are all garments because that's what I prefer to knit. I am actually thinking about knitting a pair of chunky socks because I'm going to a friend's birthday and she was wishing for chunky socks. So maybe I'm gonna knit that. I'm not a sock knitter, but it would be nice to knit those for her. So I don't know if you have an idea for a pattern for some chunky weight socks, let me know. Preferably free ones, or well, only free ones. I don't really want to pay for a basic sock pattern. I can find the pattern myself, like a free pattern myself, but maybe you had like a perfect pattern that you tried and you really liked and wanted to share that. So anyway, I'm gonna start out with the project that I have the most progress on, and that is the Sook moon sweater. I think that's what it's called. It's a Korean name, and it's a pattern by Aegyoknits. I've been working on this for quite a while now, on off. It's been in hibernation for a while, and then I cast off some things, cast off my Ingrid top and some other things, and cast on some other sweaters, and the other sweaters, which you're gonna see, require just a bit more brain power. This one is basically just stockinette stitch, so I just have picked that up again. Well, let me show it to you. So I have finished one sleeve and I'm just working on the other sleeve. I am at the bottom. I put that on a spare piece of scrap yarn just because I wanted to see the length of it, and it's the right length. So I'm just gonna do a ribbing, and then the edge is done, or the bottom hem is done. In the pattern, it's just a regular hem, but I really enjoy wearing split hems, so I think I'm gonna do that as well. Just figure out the underarm here, which I guess, well, this is the beginning of the round, but figure out exactly where to split on beneath this underarm, and then I have the beginning of the round here, and just do a stockinette stitch, ribbing back and forth for just, I think, maybe just 2 centimeters. I don't want it to be too big, just because the rib up here isn't that long either, and the same for the cuffs. I think the cuffs, I was counting, I think it's around 8 or 9 rounds of rib, so I want to do the same for the bottom hem. I was thinking about doing a high-low hem, but I think I'm just gonna keep it plain with just a straight hem, basically. Yeah, the pattern is knit with 2 different kinds of yarns, and I don't know if you can tell. Oh, you can see. So it has a stripe effect, and the way you get that is by switching the yarns. So basically you are knitting with 2 strands of yarn. I'm knitting with 3 strands of yarn, just to get the gauge. So, but in the pattern you knit with a fingering weight yarn and a lace weight yarn. So this is also so I have 2 fingering weight yarns here. So I just held this together to get the same thickness as a fingering weight yarn, basically. So you knit not going to say how much, but a certain amount of rows with the 2 yarns held together, and then you knit another amount of rows with just this 1 yarn, and then you just continue doing that. And the rows that you do with just the single strand of yarn is in the pattern she uses a silk mohair, and I've used a silk alpaca from Knit We Do. I think it's a silk alpaca. I don't even have the ball band here. But that's the same length as a silk mohair, so you can substitute those two perfectly. This yarn is a yarn from a Danish farm. My mom knew people who had the yarn, and they had sheep and had the yarn spun, and then they were old and didn't want to sell the yarn anymore. She got a lot of the yarn, and then I bought that from her to dye on, and this was one of the yarns, and it's a merino mohair. See, I can't remember that either. Next time, hopefully the sweater is done next time, I will be sure to have the exact fiber content, but I think it's a merino mohair yarn. I think so. I don't know. There's merino in here for sure. And it's quite nice. It's quite nice to work with. Yeah, and I am actually quite enjoying knitting on this one. It's as you can see, it's a very simple pattern. There's no shaping. Actually, there's no shaping in the sleeves either. I just decided to do so because otherwise, I've done one decrease here, but it's a very wide sleeve, and I just did not want a wide cuff here. I have knit one other pattern from Aegyoknits, which is also a designer for this sweater, and every time it's ginormous. It's very, very big. I'm not even exaggerating when I say that if I lift my arm, it's this far down. I have knitted another sweater by Aegyoknits, which is the BEO sweater, and it has a very wide sleeves, like I would not almost say dramatic, because they are, I think, down to here. So if I would hold my hand here, then the bottom part would be all the way down here. So for example, when we play games, like a board game, I will knock over everything that we have on the board, and it's just annoying. It's also annoying working in the kitchen. It's just generally quite annoying. So even though I really like the look of those wide sleeves, I also know that they are quite annoying for me to wear. So I decided to just make this a bit more tight fitted. It's still not super tight, which is fine, but it's better than what the original pattern suggests for me, better for me. I also find that once I wear my sweaters, they tend to stretch, so even though this looks like this right now, I'm expecting that it will grow and be wider with wear. So yeah, that's I think that's the modifications I've done for this one. Yeah, so the sleeves and then the bottom hem, like I wanted to do that, a split hem. I'll try and put it up because sometimes it's easier to see, for example, with the sleeves. So yeah, just a top down raglan with some wide sleeves. I really like the deep armhole and the deep sleeves here, so that's perfect for me. And then I have actually the sleeves looks quite short right now. I have been knitting it a bit longer, hoping that it wouldn't, like, I prefer the sleeve to end right around here, and so you can't see, but when I'm just relaxing my arm, that's kind of where it ends. And then I'm hoping with blocking that it may grow a bit, because I also know that with wear it's gonna shrink back up. So I hope the blocking is gonna make it grow a bit, because then at the end, once I've been wearing it for some time, it's gonna sort of end up at a place that I like. I often find that my sweaters tend to have too short sleeves, or that the sleeves tend to shorten with wear, which I think is because of just friction, a little bit of felting maybe on the arms, so that they maybe with washing and may felt a bit as well, and so they often tend to just ride up a bit, and I like the look of this length, but I don't like wearing it. I would like it to be down here. So that's my plan or my hopes for the blocking of the sweater and the wearing, that they're gonna end up at a place that I like. I've not done a lot of colorwork sweaters in my life for two reasons. I'm not good at it. I find it very, very difficult to keep the tension perfect or just keeping the tension. It's just very difficult. It's either too loose or too tight. So the end result is not as I want it to be. And two, I'm just not really enjoying it, which may be because I have a hard time with the tension. I don't know that, but it's not really something that I enjoy. And I'd kind of forgotten about it, so I've ended up casting on 2 colorwork sweaters. Yeah, so I'm gonna start out by showing you the one of them. And that is the Rosie sweater by Lene, Holme, Samsøe. You can see here I'm at just the part where the colorwork just started. So I have only knitted 2 rounds and I'm not enjoying it. I really am not. I did order a cable that's a bit bigger. That's a bit bigger than this one, because I'm hoping that's gonna make it easier for me to keep the tension. It's very difficult for me to keep the tension when it's all scrunched up like this. And so I'm kind of waiting for that to come so that I can work more on this. It's also a good excuse to not work on it. I'm hoping that cable will help me enjoy this more. I'm at a point where I have been thinking about frocking it, but then I'm like, I really, really love the pattern. It's a beautiful pattern. And I want the sweater. I want the finished object. I'm also a project knitter. I'm not a process knitter. I primarily knit for the finished object, or for like the joy of thinking about that finished object and I'm then gonna wear once I'm finished with knitting it. But I am thinking about, so the pattern has a row of roses up here and then further down on the body. And depending on how I feel, because now I'm, like I said, 2 rows in the colorwork pattern, and I think the chart is, I don't know, 20-25 stitches or something like that, or rows. So there's still ways to go, at least for me, because I don't enjoy it. So I'm thinking about maybe just doing that first colorwork chart and then leaving out the roses on the bottom of the sweater. But I'm gonna figure that out. I have decided that I will work on this one, and I want to at least finish that first row of roses, and then I'll reassess and see what I think, if I'm up for doing another round, or if I'm like, no, I'm done, and then I'm just gonna knit the rest in plain stockinette stitch, no colorwork. So yeah, that's my plan. I knitted a swatch. I think I showed that to you here. So you have a row up here, and then you have a row down right below. So this is just half the chart basically, and I'm just up here right now. When I knitted the swatch, I was using 2 yarns that I dyed myself called Spinito, and it's a Surrey alpaca and a Highland wool held together. And I was quite unsure if I liked this or not. In my head, I had a very clear vision of how it was going to be, and not exactly how I imagined it. So what I ended up doing was, just a second, I'm going to show you. I knitted up this swatch right here, or not swatch, like headband for as a swatch, or like a sample for to see what my yarn looked like when it is knit up, but also to wear. And it is a headband by, it's a pattern by November Knits, I think. Yeah, if you want to know, let me know and I'll write it to you. But it's just a simple stockinette stitch headband that's folded over. And for this I used Circus Bonito, which is the colorful specks that you see in the Surrey alpaca. And then I used the Highland wool, which is just a rosy color, and that is called Tryllerik. In Danish, it's a Danish word. And I thought, you know what, that may be better than this, because I would still have the colorful pops, but it's just a little less busy than this one. So that's actually what I went for. So I am knitting the roses in these two yarns held together. It's hard to see right now, but that's what I'm doing. I have marked every pattern repeat with markers, and I have the increases here. It's a very interesting construction. I do enjoy the pattern and the pattern writing style and everything, so nothing to do with that. I just am not, I guess, not really a colorwork knitter. So that is the Rosie sweater. The brown yarn is Lene from Aegyoknits right here. Oh, I can show you both of the yarns actually. So the brown yarn is Lene from Aegyoknits, which is a quite affordable Highland wool as well. I've knitted with it before, both for a sweater for Jakob, but also for myself, and I just really enjoy it. I think it's very similar to Pernilla from Filcolana if you work with that one. I think this one may be a bit cheaper actually, but at least they have the same yardage, so they should be pretty similar. And then I have, sorry about that. Yeah, so this is the Highland wool. This is the Surrey alpaca that I'm using for the sweater. Yeah. So I don't know how much I'm gonna get worked on this. Let's take another colorwork pattern sweater, or colorwork sweater that I haven't even begun the colorwork on, so maybe I should not even work more on it, but no, I am going to work on it because I really want the sweater. But this is the Augustins number 4 or 6, I can't remember, it's one of the numbers. It's a colorwork sweater with, I've been wanting to knit that for years, and this year is the year that I'm gonna finish it. I think I am probably gonna prioritize knitting this one over the Rosie sweater just because I want this for Christmas. It's a Christmassy sweater, but it's for me a sweater I would wear all, you know, cold season, so fall and winter and spring as well. It has some called bows around the yoke and just some geometric shapes, and it's really lovely. And I love the I love the colorwork, and I love the look of the sweater. And it's also knit on larger needles, so I think it's a 15 stitch gauge, something like that, for the pattern. Yeah, so not really much to show. I am done with the neck. I'm gonna fold it over. The pattern advises you to cast on with a what's it called, provisional cast on, so you have live stitches, and then when you get to the point where I am at, you knit those two together with the stitches down here. I just don't like that. I think it's very fiddly, so I just prefer to sew it down, so I'm gonna do that. I am knitting with Pigant. Is it Pigant? I think it is Pigant. From Sandnes Garn, and again the soft silk alpaca from Knit We Do, which is also what I used for my Sook Moon sweater. This is just the blue version, and then we have this beigey version as well. And for the color work, I am using also Pigant. I don't know what the color name is of this one, or this one actually. Do I have the ball bands? Petite knit. So I don't know which one of these is the petite knit yarn, and it just has the number on there. I don't know, but they are, both of these are Pigant. I think maybe this is Poppy, and I'm gonna hold that together with this yarn, which is I don't even know what it is. My mom just saw this color and on the podcast, I think, as I talked about this months ago, I think, and said that she thought she had some yarn that would go with this one, and she did. So I'm gonna use that as the contrast color. I don't know if I will wash this or not, if I should wash it just to avoid bleeding. I've not really worked with Pigant before, so I don't know if it's a yarn that tends to bleed. I do know that red and blues generally bleed more. At least that's my experience with dyeing yarn myself, that they just require a lot more washing and rinsing than any other color really. So it may be a good idea to wash it if you work with Pigant. I don't know. Do you have maybe any experience in if they're bleeding or not? It would just be really annoying to work on a colorwork sweater and then have the yarn bleed on the sweater once I block it. So I guess the best thing to do would probably be to just wind this up on a yarn winder and give it a good soak and wash and dry, and then avoid that catastrophe. Yeah, so that's that one. And then the last thing that I am working on is also, oh my goodness, I have a lot of stitch markers on here as well. This is a what's the name? This is a pattern from Laine Magazine, and it is the, I want to say it's Aika sweater. I'm gonna have to look because I think I know where the pattern is right now. Okay, here it is. This is a pattern from Laine Magazine. It's the one here on the front. And this is from, it's number 22 from, it's from 2024. And the name of the pattern is Aika by Megumi Shinagawa. Right here, it's the name. Pattern, it says, it's a long sleeve lace pullover with a relaxed but elegant fit. It is knit in a loose gauge, making it a versatile, easy to style piece for any occasion. Yeah, and I am knitting it with my own Sook alpaca right here and here. Can't remember the colorway name. It's just a very light rosy color with a bit of golden specks, brown specks, and golden, oh not golden, rosy specks as well. It's just very hard to catch it on the camera. So actually I guess it's quite similar to the pattern, the yarn used for the pattern. I think the pattern uses, what's it using? cloud fingering by the Uncommon thread for this pattern. Yeah, and the gauge is 12 stitches, so it's a very, very loose gauge. These are both, this yarn is a lace weight and holding it together, so I guess it's a fingering weight. So a 20 or a 12 stitch gauge for a fingering weight yarn is quite loose. And I'm just at the beginning of the lace, as you can see, and I enjoy this so much more than the color work. For me, lace work or cables, I prefer that so much more. I found out than the color work. I do have millions of little stitch markers in here. This one right here is the little witch, perfect for Halloween. This is by Trinity. And I have 2 Frida Kahlos, as you can see here, which is also by her. I thought I'd lost one, and then I bought another one, and then I ended up having 2, which I love them, so I don't mind. And then I just have different ones. This one I got in an advent calendar. This one is also from advent calendar. Yeah, lots of different ones here. And so far I'm enjoying it. In the pattern you're doing like a, what do they call it? Let's see, let me see if I can see what they call it. Spiral ribbing. It has like a spiral ribbing. I didn't do that. I just did a regular ribbing, mainly because I was knitting this as I was at Fiber Festival, and I just thought that having to do like a spiral ribbing, it's where you knit 2 rows and then you kind of move the rib 1 stitch. I just was like, I'm gonna mess that up here. I can't focus on that, so I ended up just doing a regular ribbing. And the yarn is heavenly soft. I really enjoy this yarn, so I'm really looking forward to wearing this one. Yeah. So I don't know. Right now I'm really preferring to just knit on the Sock Moon sweater, but I think it's also because that's soon gonna be done. And then I really hope I can focus on the Augustines pattern. So maybe I could have it done for Christmas or for December, which I guess December is not even 2 months away. So I would really have to work a lot on that one to get that ready. But it would be a fun little challenge. Maybe I should do that. I guess if we're gonna do that, I'm not gonna knit the socks. I don't know. But it would be really nice to have one. I don't have like a Christmas sweater. Not like you need to have a Christmas sweater, but it's just fun. Yeah, and then this one is, I'm borrowing the magazine from the library. But I guess I can always borrow it again, because I don't think I would be able to keep it that long for, like long enough for me to be able to knit that pattern if I also wanted to knit the other sweaters. And also, Jakob keep asking me about his sweater. I gave him a sweater last year for his, I don't know if it's his birthday or Christmas, but his birthday is 2 days before Christmas. And he's asking me about that one, and I still haven't cast that on. So that's also something that I would like to do. I have bought some plate yarns for that, some low P yarn in plates. I've never knit with that before, so I'm also kind of excited to try that. I'm thinking about holding it together, like 2 together, so I get a very thick gauge, and that way it's going to be quicker to knit. So if you have an idea for a pattern, just a raglan pattern for a man at a thick gauge, let me know. I haven't really decided on a pattern yet, but he has a knitted sweater that he bought. So like it's a store-bought sweater, because I didn't knit him a sweater. He bought himself a sweater, and he has worn that so much that there are holes in both of the elbows, so he really needs another sweater. And it's just a very plain white sweater with black loose. Is that called lice in English? I don't know. Just black colorwork dots all the way down, and he really enjoys that fit. So I want to get something that kind of reminds looks like that, I'm gonna use that pattern as like that sweater as a template for his sweater, so that I get the fit to be pretty much the same as that sweater, because he likes that. So if you know of a just raglan shape, I mean, there are tons of those, but maybe I should look at Tin Can Knits. I find they often have some very good patterns in a very wide variety of sizes. Yeah, I think maybe I should go have a look there. So that's also something that would be nice to at least begin working on. Yeah, anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you later. Bye.